That point. No unflattering photos.
Yes. Yep, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yep. A lot of times when they're really, I hate to, young or don't understand that the whip on the left is easier to start with, but ultimately, you know, this horse's weak hind leg is his right. You know what I mean? Because he diving left alleviates the right. However, you know, Kira Kirkland said something really cool in a symposium one time. She said, lots of people think about engaging the hind leg to lighten the shoulders, and she said, I like to lighten the shoulders so the hind leg can engage. And that's really, 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 really how I am too. Like, yes, exactly. And it's like, that's a little bit about like even telling, I don't remember who it was, but like in a shoulder in, or Ruth Andrea, Tanner transition to the right. Okay, he's slow to the left time. Yeah. But he's also leaning in the left rein, so if we don't fix the front end, if we just wake the heck up the hind end against the front end, you know, it just takes a, I mean, you can do it. Some people do that, but it makes the horse feel more trapped, and it also just, I think it's a little easier if you can really think about the front end, like that you make enough space for it, and that's where the whip on the left is going to help you, because you're going to remind him a little bit on that side to stay, you know, up to that left rein and around your left leg, and then ultimately as he gets more trained, you may find that you like the whip on the right a little bit more, because that's the hind leg that you sort of want to be going after. Yeah, and talk, yeah, purr a little bit or whatever when you want that downward. Yep, yep, yep. That's it. Yep, and steady on the right side, yep. That's it. You always, especially with him, since he has a tendency to be a little bit leaning or heavy, and the walk is too fast to get after him for that, you know what I mean? So he's already like past max walk. Yeah. In the balance department. In the balance department. It's not like you can't have a bigger walk, of course. Judges love big walks. There you go. Super. There. That's where he can balance himself into a trot. Yeah. You look nice on him, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and just make him wait. Exactly. You just gotta learn to make it under you. Yep, and you can accept that. A little tops. Yeah, and you know that's what we were talking about a little earlier too, about like, you know, sometimes little compromises. We don't want them to be like, what the hell does this lady want? Yeah. You know, if you get so picky, there you go. You just gotta keep forming him around your left leg. Like he makes you a little bit want to push your left leg ever so slightly forward, and think that you're not going to push inward with your legs. You're going to push downward, downward, downward. Yes, because inward will make him step out with his right hind. When he gets a little bit more educated, haunches in is going to be awesome for him here. Yes, good job, very nice. On the next long side, leg yield him a little bit in. Good job. Yep, it's okay. Yeah, good job. Well done. Yeah, did he speed up? Yeah. Yeah, super. Good job. So now let's make a downward, somewhere on a circle or a straight line, it doesn't matter. Make a downward transition. Okay. And, you know, talk to him a little bit and try to see if you can keep it coming from behind. Yep, super. Ever so slightly hollowing, but for now I think it's okay. I'd rather him hollow a little than just brace. And yet,
The minute I make the sound, you stop.
yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah. So you want him to connect that sound with your aid. Yeah, and that was good. You didn't rush the walk. You made it active underneath you. Good job. Yeah, You got it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good job. Awesome. Awesome. Well done, Karen. Well done. Super. So, what was that? Good. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Super. Yeah. So, yeah, super. Yeah, I'm just kind of playing a little bit with that wrist. Keep that inside rein a little bit kind of actively towards him. And then let's think about a left canter now. And just play little transitions within the gait, just to kind of make sure that he's not, you know, he's forward in the trot, which is awesome, but that he's not running so that you're going to get a good transition. Yeah, exactly. Just little transitions. Good job. Keep it. Keep it. Yeah. You've got to do one of two things. Either don't allow that or ride that, because you kind of held on to it a little. Yeah. Yeah. But now it's good. Super. Yeah, yeah. Keep the right connection. Keep the right. See, the haunches go a little to the inside because you have them bent to the inside, but not on the outside ring. Yeah, yeah. Lots of little turns. He's got a big canter. So remember we were talking about that yesterday, and I sort of couldn't. I can't really coach you fast enough to do that, but you've got to be. You'll see it really clearly in the video how he bends his neck, but not as. Yeah, and just kind of wait a little bit. Don't make another transition until. If you don't think you could walk, then make a walk transition. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which that happened to me too after the canter yesterday. So, you know, with that canter, you know, you need to keep him. I don't think you had him overbent to begin with, but then he sort of fell into that like little. Yeah, so just a little straighter and then just lots of little turns. You know, nobody might be able to even tell you're doing it, but you've got to really just be like, because he, you know, he has a big canter. So you have to allow that big canter, but obviously we don't want him to just, you know, take over and start pulling himself along. So, you know, you have to really guide him on your turns. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And now go straight already. You straighten him a little and kind of turn him a little with your hips and your knees. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And turn him again. Yep. Because he gets a little long, but we want to keep him together. But yeah, straighten him a little bit more because he needs to almost look a little right. Yep. 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 There. Now he's straighter. Whoops. Yep. 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 Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Now make him wait a little bit. You might even want to sit when he does that transition. Sit for several strides because you don't want it to feel good to him. You'll see it really clearly in the video. You know, especially when you have a good enough seat. Some people get like bounced out, and then it's maybe not fair to the horse. But like you want him to, when he dives on his forehand in a transition, whether it's a break or a transition, you want him to be like, oh, that didn't feel good. You know, so that he starts to learn to rebalance himself quicker. Yeah. And shorten the walk even a little more. It's still a little pulling. Yeah. 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 You shouldn't have to. You know, you should just let your leg hang and walk. And you're not like a wet towel. Not like they're literally all. Yeah. But like just that they're sort of draped around them. I know. Yeah. Not too bad. Good boy. Super. Do you want to try one more on this side? Yeah. hold him with your hand. So he gets you a little bit, he gets you leaning back in the transition. You know, so then he lifts his neck up and he comes against your hand. Yeah, you gotta ride this, ride this, ride this, ride it. Come on. Yep, yep. Yes, now you're riding a little better. Ride it. And I think in the transition you just wait for something to happen. Yep. And you get ever so slightly back. You'll see the video. Yep. And ride this. You have to ride it into a little more collected collected. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Not that I want you to literally collect it. That's it. Good job. Yep. Exactly. Yep. And talk to him a little. Yep. Because he's really running. Yep. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. And then I would walk. Yeah, and I give him a little break. Yeah. I think you freeze in it a little bit, like you either lean back or you get thrown back, one or the other, and then he uses his head for leverage to kind of get into it. So you know, really make sure that you're going a little bit with the motion, and I mean, you'll see it on the video. It's not like you're like way in the back seat.
No, and I feel like once he gets cantering, then I can, as you
Right.
say, then you start working on riding.
Riding. Yep.
But the transition is just,
Yeah, and and I think that has to do a little bit more with balance. Like it's a balance change. So you know, he wants to like lift his neck and kind of, you know, essentially pull himself into it, of course. And you've got the hang of that in the walk trot really well. And I think it's very important. I mean, this isn't true. This is true of your older horses too, not just young horses. But you know, sitting with them, when you get left behind the motion, you end up kind of giving them something to lift their neck against. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you sit forward and lighten your seat. You sit forward and you actually like anchor yourself. You know, so that if he was to come against you, he comes against your, you know, a low center of gravity. You know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What was that?
he doesn't look as good like when you rode it.
Yeah.
The left lead canter is gorgeous.
I found
and
the
right
left-
lead canter is not as
Exactly.
nice.
I find the left lead easier.
And I can't
Right.
do the right lead as well.
That you can't. Do you mean that the right lead's better with you? No, it's worse. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, the right lead's better.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah, that doesn't totally make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense at all.
But
You know, it's like something with the transition,
that's probably the same thing as Ruth Andrea, because his outside rein is a stiff rein.
yeah.
So, you know, that's where the transition's going to be a little harder. It's always going to be harder. I mean, it would be weird if it wasn't harder on the right to get the transition anyway, because that's where he braces on the outside. But you'll get it. I think you know, it might be just that you haven't gotten comfortable with that whole left side yet. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I bet you'll find a lot of things on that side easier.
Yeah, at this point it's getting better.
Yep. Yep, and just steady that inside contact. Yep. He really gives you even contact. Yeah, good job. It's a great reaction. He has a little butt tuck.
Yeah, I love the reaction.
Yep. Yep. Very nice. Good job. Yep. a good job with that. And you know, I said to them, but that's totally fine. Because you're also going to feel because it's not just about what you see, it's about what you feel. Do I feel him lean into the hand in the transition? That's not so good. Like even if I sit here and go, yay, yeah, that's good. You know, if he's leaning into the hand, I mean that's what you're going to feel. Yeah. That's it. That's a great exercise. Yeah, but you're pulling his head to the left. Yeah, and then he can't leg yield. Yeah, he needs. Remember, leg yield to the right. You want to connect him to the right rein, not pull him over the left shoulder. Yeah, that's almost a little bit too much of what I suggested. You could flex him left and you can keep him parallel, but that's better though, because at least then you're asking him to move his shoulder. Yeah. And you can flex left, but you have to connect them right. There you go. And that'll make the canter transition easier too. Good boy. Yeah, don't let him push his pole forward. He's gotta wait. Yes. There you go. Keep those half halts coming, and then if the half halts aren't, if he's leaning into the half halt, then you just make a downward transition. So yeah, exactly. So, because he's going to have that tendency to kind of, okay, he's on the bit, but he's sort of pushing his pole forward. And then you have nowhere to drive. Yeah, you want to have exactly somewhere where you can drive his hind legs under. Like that's really nice right there. I don't know how it feels, but that's where his frame wants to be. It's not that he can't be behind the vertical, because he can be behind the vertical. It's just that you don't want to feel like the energy going through his pole. You want to feel it going out to the bit. Yeah. Now be careful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's careful that outside exactly, that the outside contact still stays good. Good job. That what? Well, you have to be careful because the outside contact is too strong sometimes, right?
I think they heard me just a minute.
Yeah. Good job. Yep, that transition is better. But he also is not really completing his stride. You know what I mean? Like his head and neck is up a little bit above the bit. So that's him just kind of rocking around the outside rein. He's not really going up to the outside rein. So the quality of the canter is actually better on the other side. Yep. There you go. You gotta say, come on, not using too much outside rein, but kind of pushing it like it's a stick at him. Say, come on, canter, and steer him with steer him a little earlier on that open side. Like, don't wait until you're on the open side to steer him. Steer him now for the open side. Come on. Yep, that he doesn't need your outside rein so much because he leans to your outside rein. Yep. And when you give it, he leans more, so you have to be careful. Yeah, so you do want to give it, but you want to say, no, don't run through it, step up to it, up to it, up to it. Come on. Yeah. See how he needs it? Too much? So I want you to really look in the video and notice that even though this side is quote unquote easier, he's not completing his stride as much as on the other side. And the quality of the canter, like if you were in a young horse test, they would like the left canter. Yeah, come on. Yeah, you can see it even there. Yeah, he's got a canter. There.
So,
That's it.
I touched
That's
him with the wrist to make him.
Yep. Because he has to use his whole back. And he wants to chop off the canter a little bit on this side. It is. It's better because he's not chopping off, and then you've got to kind of learn how to do the same thing. See, you have to learn how to do the same thing as you do in the other direction, as use your little, like, kind of use the turns. Like, one of the things I did with him yesterday is I just kind of was like, instead of just going down the long side, I moved him 1 foot to the inside, coming around the corner. I don't know if you saw that, but I kind of come on. and he lost his balance for a minute coming along the outside, like he almost trotted. I don't know if you remember that, but he almost trotted a little bit. But then because it's like you can't really ride a half halt, but you can kind of manipulate his line of travel so that he has to balance himself a little bit. He can't just run; he has to balance himself. And you can do that in trot too. You can play with it because it'll make you better at it when you're in the canter. Is like when he wants to run, you know, that you just manipulate his line of travel a little bit and where his shoulders are so that you can keep riding from behind without him getting faster. Yeah. Because he wants to get a little bit kind of pulling himself along with all the gaits, of course. Yeah, it's nice to be so forward. But yeah, and you just kind of manipulate where his shoulders are. Yeah. And you can kind of, yeah, exactly. Take him off the wall a little bit. And there you go. There you go. Yep. Yep. That's the best canter. Yep. Yep. And then take him off the wall a moment. With your, yeah. There you go. There you go. So, you know, that's just an example on the wall, but you can even do that in your circle. You just make your line of travel. There you go. Just manipulate your line of travel like nobody can see it. It's very little. This is by far the best canter. Yeah. And then you can see it's hardest on the circle there because he takes the outside and kind of leads with it. But and I would make a downward transition soon because this has been the best canter. And as far as the manipulating the line of travel, particularly in this direction, on the circle, you can't wait until you've already hit the open side, you know, because then he's like already, you know, you have to, you have to turn him a little bit, like if you're on a right circle, maybe even don't go all the way to the wall, so that he's already like listening. He's not prevented from drifting. If he's being prevented from drifting left by the wall, as soon as the wall's gone, or your hand, for that matter, your hand, you know, as soon as it's gone, the wall or your hand, he's you know, where he needs to learn to stay within the boundaries of your seat. You know, Kathy Carmen always calls it a balance box, your balance box. Like, as he goes left, you don't. You know, and that's a little hard. I mean, it's not something you even consciously do. Like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and not go. You know, it's just like you have to think about your line of travel. One canter to the left, yep. And you did a really good job with the long sides, that little manipulation of the. Did you feel he had to balance himself back a little bit? Yeah, because it's tough because you need to let him have his full canter, but you don't want him just to bomb around like along. And he's not ready for you to manually put them together. He hasn't reached. They tell you, you know, you essentially just canter them until you.
So when he comes on
Yeah,
the seat,
he starts exactly, and he'll start to just relax into the canter, and all of a sudden you'll go like, okay, he's ready for me to influence him in canter. And the only way you're going to influence him in canter now is with the line of travel, so that he, you know, you're not going to literally stick on a half halt and collect him. But you can. I won't use the word collect him. You can compress him through, you know, your line of travel. Yeah. Yeah. Think about bouncing him back. Exactly. Bouncing him back. Yeah. Because you want to be saying to him, yes, your forward energy is awesome, but let's use it under you. Exactly. Let's make your back spring and not you're holding on the inside rein big time. Yeah. Try the next time from your balanced canter, you know, try to bring him even a little tiny bit more back, just a tiny bit more back. Yep. And really make sure that you're supple with the inside rein and that you're going with him in the canter transition, that you're not a little bit back. Yep. Yep. That was a little better. So already kind of, yep, changing your, a little bit your line of travel. And this side, you cannot bend in too much to the left. Yes, this is better. Come a little off the track right away. Yep, there we go. Straighten. Yep, you'll see, exactly. You gotta ride those shoulders around the turn, not his neck. Yep, you got it. This is good. Was that his or yours? Oh, it was, okay, I thought it was yours. Yep, that was nice. Yep, yep. And yeah, his shoulder needs to open up, that's it. You gotta ride him almost in a little counterflex, almost counterflex.
Yeah, that's kind of really stretches that neck.
Exactly, so he gets more uphill. I wouldn't worry too much when he breaks, because if when he breaks, you know, it's I mean he's not a lazy horse. I mean they're all lazy, but he's not like I would just keep. But the hardest thing with this horse is balance. You know, so if he, you know, a lot of times, I think right there the balance actually improved and he broke.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and I know he's not lazy, but this is hard work for him.
Right.
He's not strong.
I mean, they're all lazy. They avoid, you know, he's just more of the type that will avoid using himself by running, not by, you know, quitting. That's why yesterday when you did a little bit of quitting at the end, you know, it's like, okay, if he does that, obviously you're not going to just let him quit.
No.
But you're certainly not going to, you know, when Delaware quits, you light a fire under him.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's different.
when he quits,
It's different. Yeah.
you're gonna say like, okay, I'm gonna kind of use that to my advantage almost. Like, yeah. You know, I don't think so. I want to keep it positive for him. So, and I think that's probably a lot of work for him. So, I'm really pleased with that.
He's good. I'm really pleased with that too.